Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice to Radio. So today, we're going to be having a look at Prinplup. It is, I don't know if we've ever done it before, where each member of an evolution line really gets featured in a video because they're good enough. But that's what's happening here. We did a video previously where we looked at both Empoleon and Prinplup from the set. I'll pop a link to that video in the description. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we need to take a little bit of a look at Prinplup. I'm genuinely a little bit psyched about this, and I do love me some penguins. So, let's have a look, shall we? Now, in terms of the basics here, it's not terribly exciting, but then again, we are in evolving stage 1, so we shouldn't be expecting the world, so to speak. We've got 80 HP. 80 HP is fine, it's about what we would expect. Retreat cost of 2 is kind of annoying, but do always remember we're going to have a Beware that will reduce your retreat cost by 2, so there's that. Weakness to lightning, I mean, look, you've got 80 HP. Zapdos isn't hitting you for weakness, but it doesn't need to. It's getting a one-hit KO anyway. But with stuff like Pikachu and Zekrom running around, lightning's a pretty good type right now, so I don't know. It's not looking amazing. And you're a water Pokemon, which means you are hitting weakness against stuff like Reshiram and Charizard. But then again, the weakness doesn't really matter because you're not hitting the active Pokemon. Now, this has 2 attacks, and the first one is meh. 1 water energy, 20 damage, and we've seen a couple of these attacks before. Pre-rotation, they weren't terrible, because we had Choice Band. So you would add Choice Band on there, and that 20 became 50, and with weakness became 100. You'd be getting a 2-hit KO on something like a Blacephalon, and we'd be going yeah, that's actually not terrible. We can live with this. But now that we don't have Choice Band anymore, we're just doing 20 damage, and I feel quite confident saying that's not good enough. Okay, glad we got that out of the way. But there is a second attack here which is way, way better. According to the lovely Antoine Boulet, who has provided, I'm going to be honest, all the translations yesterday and today because he's that lovely a man. Free water energy, discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Now this isn't too bad. 100 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. In terms of the energy here, we've got Naganadel to accelerate energy to itself and then Quagsire to move the energy to the active. And even though we've lost Aqua Patch, that's still pretty decent. I'm all in favour of this. It's quite expensive and you do have to discard all the energy, but then again, if you got 2 Naganadel and a Quagsire down, you recover 2 of the energy with Naganadel, attach 1 from your hand, boom, you're going in a turn. And hitting 100 to the bench is pretty good if I'm honest with you, because hitting 100 to the bench means that you're getting Malamar. Now annoyingly you're not getting Naganadel, because they're sitting there at 130, and you're not getting Zapdos because they're sitting there at 110. So you're not getting some of the best ones. But you are getting Jirachi. And Jirachi's huge. Jirachi's seeing a wonderfully large amount of play at the moment. You're getting Jirachi. You're getting Ditto Prism Star. You're in fact getting all of the evolving Pokemon. So you run into an awkward situation where your opponent is going, right, I want another Naganadel, I'm playing a Poipole, and you're like, well, I can't KO the Naganadel on the bench. Oh wait, it's not evolved yet. Yeah, I can totally KO the Poipole on the bench. And that's what you do. Is it significantly better than something like Dewgong? Well, the answer is largely no. Now, Dewgong hits 60 to 2 Pokemon. So there's plenty of Pokemon out there like Malamar, like Jirachi, like Poipole, etc. that you will get with Prinplup that you won't get with Dewgong. Dewgong will get a whole bunch of evolving Pokemon like Inkay and Grubbin, and that's lovely. But Dewgong is missing a bunch. But then again, Dewgong can do it for just a triple acceleration energy, and it hits 60 to 2, so I think on balance Dewgong is quite a bit better. I mean, the energy cost alone makes it better. But you see, we're being a little bit disingenuous here. This Prinplup is fine. As a stage 1 attacking Pokemon, this is not bad. This is better than a bunch of basic Pokemon we've seen out there, and because you're a water Pokemon and you can accelerate energy, this is a viable Pokemon. But it's kind of a weaker end of viable, fun league deck kind of Pokemon. But the reason it gets its own video is because of Empoleon. Yeah, this is where we need to go back to the Empoleon from this set. The Empoleon from this set changes everything. Because you see, the Empoleon's got a Redonk attack for 1 colourless energy that just lets you use the attacks of your previous evolutions. And this is better than it might initially sound, because we can look at something like Memory Berry or Memory Energy, which allow you to do the same thing. Heck, even Shining Celebi or Shrine of Memories. Yet weirdly, right, this mechanic of using the attacks of your pre-evolutions, it's been around for a while. One of the very, very first decks I ever made in the Pokemon trading card game was using the Gyarados from Mysterious Treasures that actually had a Pokebody back then, passive ability, which let it use the attacks of the previous Pokemon. So what you would do here is you would use any Magikarp with Flail. There's been like 50 of them over the years. And then, in fact, the one from Mysterious Treasures itself had Flail. But instead of doing 10 damage for each damage counter on you with a 30 HP Pokemon, you do it with a 120 HP Pokemon. That's a lot better. But anyway, I digress. The point is, if we look at all of these things, your Memory Berry, Memory Energy, Shining Celebi, Shrine of Memories, they all have one thing that Empoleon doesn't, and that is that they specifically say, you must have the necessary energy to use this attack. But Empoleon doesn't say that. Which means that Empoleon is doing this attack for a single colourless energy. That, ladies and gentlemen, makes a tremendous amount of difference. Because now we're not looking at free water energy, do 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. We're looking at a single colourless energy, do 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And that is phenomenal. Incidentally, right, Raikou EX basically had this attack. Now, it was for a lightning colourless, and you discarded all lightning energy, but in reality, you paid free lightning and discarded them all, and did 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. The only difference between Raikou's attack and Prinplup's attack, well, two differences, I suppose. The one colourless energy in the cost, which is honestly not even relevant, because you've never used it, it was always lightning energy. And the fact that Raikou could hit the active, whereas Prinplup can only hit the bench. So when I say Prinplup is a viable Pokemon with a proper attack, I mean it's a viable Pokemon with a proper attack. Back in electric decks back in the day, this saw a huge amount of play. Raikou Eels was a big deck. So Prinplup is a good Pokemon. But even with your Naganadel and Quagsire, it's a little bit awkward and probably a little bit slow. But Empoleon comes to copy the attack, and now we are absolutely rolling. And here's the thing. Let's look back at that Piplup we saw the other day. Because Piplup for free water energy does 80 damage and protects it from attacks from basic Pokemon the following turn. Cool. Except Empoleon's doing it for a single colourless energy. That's huge. Incidentally, just to clarify, Piplup only protects you from the defending basic, not from any basic next turn. The point is, Empoleon now, for a single energy, can either use Piplup's attack to do 80 damage and stop the defending Pokemon attacking if it's a basic, or can use Prinplup's attack to do 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Now, clearly at this stage, right, we need to point out, if you used Rare Candy to skip an evolution stage, so you went straight from Piplup up to Empoleon, you are not allowed to use Prinplup's attack because it's not there. And if you're evolving up manually, it might be a little bit too slow. But you're going to have one or two that evolve from Prinplup. So you're going to be absolutely fine here. All of a sudden, this Empoleon is looking better and better. Remember, we're going to have more Piplup. We're going to have more Prinplup in the future. It's not like these are the only two we're ever going to have. But as it stands at the moment, we got a couple of really good attackers, and this Empoleon's looking really good. It's not really fair to give Prinplup a score, but let's just say it makes Empoleon a lot better than it looked the other day. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited about this, and frankly, you should be too. And I'd like to know how excited you are in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.